What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Afanis, aka Viper Magic, and today I want to talk to you guys about Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. So, I am upstairs, obviously. I am not in my office. I'm sitting in my game room right now. My wife and I did the unboxing video the other night, and I've just been too damn lazy to move my webcam and my microphone back downstairs. So, here we sit in the heart of it all. I've been playing a lot of Phantom Pain the last few days. I've probably logged about 10 or so hours, maybe a little more. And I've got a pretty good feel for, I think, what the game is all about, at least in terms of pacing. Now, that could change at any time. Typical Hideo Kojima. You could suddenly bust out a 3-hour cutscene and just ride it out. But from everything I've read and everything that I've personally experienced, that's not the case. And you can't have it both ways, can you? You can't have a game that is very dialogue heavy and say, oh, that's a traditional Metal Gear Solid experience, and then get upset when it's dialogue heavy. And if you do the exact opposite, which I kind of feel that Metal Gear Solid 5 is kind of modeled after, where it's very action heavy and just little bits of story implanted, it kind of loses some of that Metal Gear nostalgia or that Metal Gear feeling to the game. That said, I'm having an absolute blast with it. I've always liked open world games, and I've always argued, to most of my friends at least, that I would much rather have gameplay over story. Metal Gear might be the exception, though. It does feel a little weird. This is a very pivotal moment in Metal Gear history. What's happening during the era, 1984. Maybe not that exact year, but in that period of time between Metal Gear Solid, Portable Ops, and the other... God, what's the other game called? This is horrible, isn't it? Peace Walker. I don't know why I drew a blank there. Peace Walker and the original Metal Gear on Nintendo. So this is a very pivotal time when Big Boss turns, and the why, what happens, in this period to make him who he becomes, and we're gonna learn that because right now he's still kind of revered as like a hero, and he's out to get revenge and figure out what's going on. So I know there's going to be hooks, and I know there's going to be some stuff. I mean, the whole first level, if you want to call it that, is very supernatural, which is very typical for a Kojima game until it's really explained what's happening or why. I'll give you a perfect example of how the story's been refined. So, not really spoiler-ish per se. Obviously, you guys saw my unboxing video the other day. You know that Snake now has a robotic forearm. The way he gets it is like, hey, Snake, here's a robotic forearm. And he's like, all right, thanks. And that's it. As opposed to previous Metal Gear games where you would have a probably 30-minute discussion on nanotechnology and on how it works and what it's going to do for Snake, and it probably wouldn't work at first, and maybe there wouldn't be a mini game, but it'd be a lot of talking and the codec between Snake and like 9 other people before he figured out how to use it, and then you would start with it. The end result is that Snake is whole again. And I'm assuming this robotic piece is going to have some element. Obviously, the game being called Phantom Pain revolves around that, and he does make references to still feeling the pain in his fingertips. But play on words aside, the net result of that event happening is that he's got an arm. So did I need to see a 30-minute discussion on it? Not really. So in that sense, I'm not frustrated by what Metal Gear has done. It's streamlined the process because some of those codec conversations in the past were very long-winded and you kind of started to lose interest. Now, I'm hoping, and I don't know this because, again, I'm not that far into the game, but I'm hoping that they save those big revelatory codec conversations for big moments. Snake getting a robotic arm isn't necessarily groundbreaking or earth-shattering. So I'm okay with them kind of skimping off the story on that piece. It's very different, though, this being in this open world. I really do enjoy it, by the way. I think they've done an amazing job of how the world works around you, and you have that open sense of exploration and discovery and finding materials for Mother Base, and that's contrasted with these sudden kind of hot zones that are very guard heavy. There's a day-night cycle, dust storms, guard shifts. It really does reward you if you put time and effort into kind of planning out your mission instead of just running in guns a-blazing, which you can certainly do, and the gunplay is exceptional in this game. Every gun definitely, at least the ones that I found and crafted, they all do have distinct feels and different mechanics to them. So if you want to just go in and be Rambo, you absolutely can. But if you want to kind of play a little more stealthy, the game totally supports that. And I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that kind of dual aspect of Metal Gear. And the open world, thankfully, doesn't take away from that experience in the least. So I'm eager to see where the story kind of takes us. I kind of have a general idea. There's probably going to be some shocker moments, and there's going to be some moments that are like, yeah, I kind of knew that. Again, when you take a game that is established as this and you place it in the middle, there's really not a lot where they can go in either direction because you kind of know who the players are. Now, certain key moments may shape certain decisions. That's absolutely fair, and I would fully expect that from a game taking place in the middle. But, for example, Big Boss isn't going to just mysteriously die in the second level because we know he's around. We know, obviously, Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are babies. We'll probably see them. But we know that no harm will come to them. So if there's any mission, and I'm just making this up, but if there's any mission where you have to, save them or, protect them, you know that nothing is going to happen. So when you take a game and jump in the middle, you do kind of lose some of that element of surprise. I think this is a great transition point because I've always wondered kind of what happened in this period. And I think this is a great ending to the series. I haven't heard if Kojima is moving on to other games or other series. My understanding is that Konami owns Metal Gear, so there may be other Metal Gear games in the future if Konami doesn't implode. However, I probably won't be with Kojima, obviously, because the guy left. So if that frees him up to do other projects, I'll support it. I think he's a great storyteller. And I'm a little surprised, though, that there's not as much long-winded exposition in this game because in the past there's definitely been that element. So we'll see how it plays out. But it's one of those games that I feel like when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. And when I'm playing it, I'm always like, what's next? What am I going to do next? And going around, especially with the Fulton, and just basically snatching everything because you don't know what you're going to do for it later. And just trying to hurry up and earn money so you can get more R&D points and, work towards that next gun and that next unlock, for me right now is kind of pushing the pace of the game as opposed to the very dialogue, lore-heavy Metal Gears of the past. So at some point, I will have everything. I will have unlocked everything. And then if the story doesn't pick up at that point, we'll see how that goes. If you guys recall when I talked about my Assassin's Creed experience, I did every possible thing I could do in Black Flag before starting on the story. And that was something that was really kind of how I normally play a game, but I really took it to the extreme. So they started to teach you in the third mission how to upgrade the Jackdaw. And by that point, it was a complete decked out Man of War. They're like, now you're going to go buy a cannon. It's like, dude, I know. I got 35 of them on the deck. And I was okay with that. I didn't feel it broke the game. And Metal Gear being stealth heavy, the more gadgets you get and the more kind of tricks and stuff you have, it just makes you play differently. I don't necessarily makes you OP in any sense. Surely in a gunfight, some of the weaponry that I've been unlocking, at this early stage of the game, I'm a one-man army at this point. But I don't play like that. I prefer the stealth when possible. So getting all these cool gadgets and getting upgraded binoculars and getting upgraded pieces of gear that do different things, to me right now is exciting enough. So I'm okay doing that. I will probably explore as much as humanly possible before I dive into the story, because that's just kind of how I am. So just want to give you guys my initial impressions on Metal Gear. Obviously, you guys saw the unboxing video my wife and I did. The metal hand, as I maybe mentioned, maybe I didn't. It's holding up the Ghost right now, the last remembrance of Peter Dinklage in my drawer over there. So, or my bookcase over there. So, and it wobbles a little, but it's okay. Still not completely sold on a collector's edition hand, but we talked about that. So, anyways, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what I've been up to in Metal Gear. Some other big gaming news has kind of been trickling out. I'll probably do another video in the next day or two. Probably still be up here because as soon as I turn this thing off, I'm going to go right over there and play some more games. So the camera and the microphone are perfectly fine where they're at. And that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoy the video. And tell me what you guys think about Metal Gear 5 so far. I'm really curious on the story element. That's what I'm really curious about. Because I see a lot of people harboring on the fact that the story isn't as fleshed out as in the past. And for now, it's working. It may change for me later, but for now, not having such dialogue-intensive scenes is definitely being the trade-off that the open world is there. I'm okay with that for now, and I am enjoying just going around in Afghanistan and just wrecking shit. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do me a favor. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.